We have been warning you, the Democrats are out for blood if they regain power in the midterms. Top party leaders have been signaling a political reckoning of investigations, breaking up companies and targeting anyone tied to President Trump. And the liberal outlet, The New Republic, takes it to the extreme with this headline: there will be no post-presidential peace for Donald Trump. Quote, the president and his allies will face impeachments, lawsuits, and maybe even The Hague. But Nancy Pelosi is giving her pinky promise that the Dems will not be partisan if they get back in charge.
My focus is singularly focused. Win the House for the Democrats. We only need 3 to make Hakeem Jeffries the Speaker of the House. I want 30 or more. And that is what it is. And it's so we can take ourselves to a place where issues are not so partisan, that there is respect for the Constitution and the role of Congress.
Why am I not reassured? So, Kayleigh, I want to come to you as the lawyer on the panel, aside from me, but I'm asking the questions. So let me ask you, do they put themselves in a legal box here? Because if they go after somebody like a corporation subsequent to the administration, if I'm sitting where the corporation is, I point to this and say, this is predatory. It has nothing to do with real law. You're just coming after me for political purposes, undermining their case. What do you think?
Absolutely. You never want to make statements about someone you're going to potentially prosecute. They can claim malicious prosecution as a defense. We have seen these arguments through the Trump administration, actually. So it's not something that I would advise from a legal standpoint. I do want to take us back to memory lane, where this all began. You know, retribution. I'm sure Jessica will talk to retribution during the Trump administration. That's the predictable points from the left. But the impetus for retribution came far before Trump. It came during Trump 1. It came with the Russia hoax that went on and on and on. It came with the impeachment over a perfect phone call, just the willy-nilly impeachment of a president, something we had not seen previously. And it came, this headline that never gets any coverage. It was actually Fox News reporting Biden, who said, I knew nothing about the Mar-a-Lago raid, nothing. Oh, wait, Fox News found otherwise. Unclassified emails were given to us. We found that he was briefed and actually coordinated the White House counsel's office ahead of that raid. A DOJ official in the Biden era said, we didn't give a bleep about the optics. The bleep was the D word, which I will not say. And an FBI official during the Biden administration, this event was dependent upon the timeline of President Biden's brief decision in coordination between White House counsel and DOJ. So retribution, we saw what it looked like in Trump 1. It is here alive and well, should Democrats take back the House.
You know why you don't see these stories focused on this? Because there was so much of it. It's like in litigation, you gray mail somebody, you throw everything at them. It's like that. Where can you stop? You got Comey, you got Brennan, you got this kind of stuff. You got the auto pen. It never stops. Jessica, you've threatened to kill me several times. You said, is this
that was between us in the green room, Paul. I don't know why you're bringing that out here.
Is this, though, an enemies list? I mean, this is just the kind of thing we want in our politics.
I actually love how synced up Kayleigh and I are, that she predicted that I would go to the list of things that Donald Trump has tried. No, but it is important that at the launch of his campaign at CPAC in 2024, he said, I am your retribution. And he has ticked through the list of individuals like Jim Comey and Tish James and John Bolton, who he doesn't like, the law firms, the universities, the networks who don't give him favorable enough coverage. He purged the DOJ of career prosecutors who won't do his bidding, having to bring in people like Lindsay Halligan, who then get tossed out. If you worked for Jack Smith, you can't be there either. I mean, the bar is so low on this that I don't even think it's a worthwhile conversation to say, oh, this is what's going to happen. They're going to tell you that this is about impeachment and the retribution will come so that they can fundraise and they can say, this is why we have to hold on to power. That's going to be standard for the Republicans. They'll do that. Arguably needed to win in 2024 so that he could stay out of prison. And it's not just we concocted these things. I mean, the Mar-a-Lago raid, there are Republicans, deep conservatives like Andy McCarthy, Jonathan Turley, who looked at that and said, like, this is really serious stuff. The guy has nuclear secrets in the toilet.
Yes, I would argue, however, that threatening corporations who want to do deals in the open market, telling them, because she's saying corporations, she said that, that's a very, very difficult thing to deal with. I mean,
Pelosi wants to win the House. That's what she is focused on.
Wants
but
to
look
win.
at how he's gone after these corporations. He's even taking 10% stakes in them so that he can have more control over them.
Yeah, but there's this big argument going on with AI right now. Anthropic won't cooperate with the Pentagon, and you have AI companies who are cooperating. And those companies you watch, they're going to be the ones they go after. And to me, where I sit, that's very actionable. And they've already put it out there. They put themselves in the spot. Like Kayleigh says, it was a very bad idea if you're going to go that route to put yourself in that position. Martha.
You know, I remember President Trump saying during this past election, when he was asked if he was going to be out for retribution, he said, success will be my retribution. He has stuck to that in some avenues and not in others, as you point out. But I go back to, you know, Peter Strzok talking about you could smell the Trump support at Walmart. I don't think when he ran the first time, President Trump anticipated the amount of machine that was going to come after him. And I think it has stuck with him for good reason over this time. But I think politically, I actually think Nancy Pelosi understands that this is not a good way for them to go. She's saying, look, let's just win 3 seats. Let's win 30, she says she wants. And let's focus on getting things sort of back to the middle. She has always been about winning, right? And she's good at it, actually. And she's still, you know, a pretty tough cookie. And I think she's telling the rest of them, pipe down.
Gutfeld.
Well, Jessica said, you know, he had to win in 2024 to stay out of prison. It just basically proved everything you said. There was a witch hunt from day one, and they were going to do it again. The Dems are talking about revenge. For what? Was it for closing the border? We're getting rid of the fentanyl from our cities, putting away killers and rapists, exposing waste, fraud, and abuse, destroying a foreign threat to our country, exposing the lie of trans athletes. If you're seeking revenge for that, what's it say about you? You know, if you're being honest, you only want revenge because you lost. And in that loss, people saw what they gained in having a new leader. If you look within our borders and beyond our borders, what Trump is doing now, and you have to admit this, is downstream from your own dereliction of your party. What brought us here? The Democrats embraced the luxury beliefs that selfishly elevated their own virtue, sanctuary cities, trans, identity politics primarily. Did nothing for the real problems of the world, did nothing about our foreign policy issues, did nothing about getting food on the table, did nothing about education. Americans figured that out, but so did the world. They were watching. I think the shock over Trump is his return to reality. We're back making moves in the practical world, and it has nothing to do with a singular person type identity. This is disorienting to people whose careers were based on the split world of identity politics, who have no idea what a national identity is, who have no idea what the melting pot is, have no idea what assimilation is. That's all he is doing, and it drives them crazy because they forgot that language. They can't speak that language anymore. So sue away.
And look, you know, you can argue about predatory politics, revenge, et cetera, but it's rich to be hearing about this idea that, oh, you're malforming the legal system when Donald Trump was subject to Alvin Bragg, Tish James, Jack Smith, Fannie Willis, who should have been, well, I don't want to go into, but listen, nobody has faced that lineup of predatory prosecutors in modern history. And so you can understand why he feels the way he does.
Especially for a choir boy.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.